I don't know what we're going to be doing in a few years, but I have a feeling that within the next couple of decades, it's not even going to involve things being delivered. I think it's going to involve 3D printing. Yeah. I think that's what it's going to be like. I want a new pair of Converse Chucks. I wonder if they'll be able to 3D print cloth. That's an interesting question.
Probably.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
What is that? 3D printer for fabrics. Well,
whoa.
Jamie just answered our question.
Crazy.
How does that work? Look at this.
Oh, shit. Wow. Look at it go.
You know, if nothing else, we've got an awesome Halloween decorator.
I know, right? They had this huge box that they sat down in the middle of the table. And they said, so this is what we do.
I met Aaron and the team when Fast Company first broke the story of Electroloom. He was still at Amazon, and they were considering making the leap to do this full time, but weren't really sure.
One day, I think a text came through where he told me that he was going to quit his job and he was going to do this full time. And I was horrified just simply because I felt very responsible. And the first thing I think I texted back was like, oh my God, have you told your parents? I gave the best advice that I could, which is, follow your heart.
For about 5 minutes of them talking, there was an actual object that had been created that was a cloth-like material. It was magic what they were doing in front of me.
I'm confused on what this is. Here, look, it's like this.
I remember it was basically a bar stool conversation with a friend, just talking about the clothes we wear and how we wanted to design them ourselves and how cool it would be if we had the technology to 3D print our clothes. We press a button and have a garment that was ready to wear. Immediately after coming up with the idea, we spent a lot of time on the floor in our rooms and garages trying to figure out how we could actually make clothes on demand.
Wow, we're actually getting a really nice tailor phone on some of these. Can you see a building?
There was a lab at our university that was doing tissue engineering. And in that lab, we were producing these small fabric scaffolds, which were then cultured and grown into these artificial blood vessels for research. The way we would make these scaffolds was by doing a process called electrospinning, which is basically taking liquid solutions and rapidly forming them into these fabrics. So the epiphany was, we're trying to make a garment, something that's made of fabric, it's composed of fibers, and just had this realization that the research we had been doing for years involved a process that, by its very nature, was making things composed of fibers on a very tiny scale. And we thought, hey, the clothes we wear and other fabrics are just larger versions of that, so we basically just started scaling that technology up.
We spent months trying to refine this crazy idea into a usable machine that we could even interface with.
Okay.
Well, nothing exploded, but it didn't work.
We built up a couple really crude, underdeveloped prototypes, and they got by, but they were not great. We went through 3 or 4 iterations like that here in the US, and then got the opportunity to go to Shenzhen, China, where we were able to make this into a slightly more usable product.
I'll give you a demonstration of some of the more simple things we've created so far. So this is a 2D sheet that was printed on the machine. So you can see it behaves like fabric. It's much different than a lot of the stuff coming off 3D printers today. Starting to get into the more complex realm, we basically just did a giant cylinder. What's cool about this though, you can see here it conformed to the cylindrical shape that was inside the machine, but it's seamless. We try to pillowcase, it has some corners to it. Here, here.
Oh yeah, all right, let's go, baby.
Go really slow at the top though, because I don't want it to pull off, because that's the most critical part. We were super jazzed that the new machine was working, and so we were like, okay, we're gonna make a tank top. And so we really quickly sketched up a design, had a mold made, put it in the machine, ran it, took the tank top off, and it was, I think, 4 sizes too small for any of us. And so one of the program directors, Cyril, was like, oh, I'll take it home and have my daughter wear it. So they took it home, they decorated it, and they had her wear it, and it's like one of the cutest things we've seen. That was actually a first for us. Like, we ourselves hadn't worn things yet, but we were looking at his daughter like walking around the house in this dress now, and that was like the first time where, wow, we've actually made something that somebody used. And that was this moment of clarity for us. We can see the extension of that, which is what people could do in the future with us, and that was super exciting.
See it on that third, it's like a third arm. Oh yeah.
After iterating prototype after prototype, I think we've created the closest thing to a 3D printer for clothing.
Three main components to the Electroloom Alpha. That's the pump itself, where we have these liquid solutions that eventually turn into fabrics. And those liquids are then delivered to a wall of nozzles that are charged to a high electric potential. And those nozzles then convert those liquids into fibers, where it enters the third component of the machine, where you have your mold, your tank top, your skirt, whatever it is, that then collects all of those fibers and forms a cohesive fabric.
There's a high barrier of entry to design, and I think a machine like Electroloom can really democratize it in a way that it can bring it close to the user, and I think that's really pretty powerful.
The most exciting thing about Electroloom to me is if you live in Ogallala, Nebraska, you can create a design on your computer, prototype it and manufacture it inside your home, and then with the power of the internet, distribute it and ship it out all over the world.
We've been designing Electroloom in a vacuum for the past couple of years. We've gone through a number of prototypes, and we're really ready to get outside perspective on them. We really want to engage with the community and open up this R&D process to other people so that we can improve the machines much quicker.
Our backers for this Kickstarter aren't really customers, and the Electroloom Alpha isn't really a product yet. It's a prototype.
We're initially releasing a limited number of Electroloom Alphas to the public on Kickstarter as a way of getting that early critical feedback for us. We're really looking for people that can open our eyes to new areas of design, things we haven't thought of, and help build this into a robust product.
I mean, it's really once every 10 years we see about 5 companies that define the next 10 years, and Electroloom can very possibly be one of those companies.